The EFCC that you know today, they've come to you at some point to ask you questions. The EFCC that you know today, how professional do you think they are?
There is no perfection in anything in life. They are trying their best, but they need a lot of training to be a very good prosecutor, to do diligent, investigation into matters. Don't be political. Don't rush into it. Don't make it, a news item in the newspaper. And at the end of the day, you cannot substantiate all those things that you have claimed to have done. So let them be a little more diligent. Let them be a bit more quiet, and not use publicity to tarnish their image. They are professional bodies. They should be able to do a lot of forensic auditing. Get experts to do this job for you discreetly. And when you now come out to the court, you have so much to give to the as prosecutor. But they delay because they now say we are investigating. But by and large, one must credit them. They are doing a very good job.
I mean, if you look at what is obtainable, you've been in cabinet,
yes.
And if you look at what the government says it wants to achieve, it talked about 3 major agenda. Fighting corruption is one of the security and issues of economy. But in the area of fighting corruption in Nigeria, for a government that studies as a major agenda, do you think that the Buhari government can beat his chest and say, we have really done well?
When you talk about Buhari's government, it is not the president that is doing most of these things. That is his agenda. But the operators may make mistakes. So the operators may not be as committed as the Mr. President. So that is why we have a little bit of lapses here and there. But let's give it to Mr. President. His conviction on corruption is noteworthy. But people that are operating it need to be more diligent.
If you look at, let's show Nigerians and our viewers across the world some of the forfeitures that have been made by the EFCC as they presented to the National Assembly today. From those forfeitures, one of the 32 billion naira and $5 million to the coffers of the federal government recovered from the former Minister of Petroleum Resources. The recovery and final forfeiture of 449 million discovered at Legico Plaza in Victoria Island, Lagos. Final forfeiture of over $43 million discovered in the Osborne Towers, Ikoyi, Lagos. Recovery of over 329 billion from petroleum marketers by the Commission's Kano office. If we look at all of this, and let's make a summary of it all as presented today, about 473 billion naira, 443 million dirham, and 70 billion South African, 70 million South African rand. Those are the monies they said have been recovered so far. But if you look at all of these, Senator, and the fact that we talk about monies and how much we need in terms of to put into the budget, how much we need to finance the budget, this is a lot of money, about 500 billion naira. Should we be talking about needing money when we have made this kind of forfeitures?
No. Mr. Magu should classify the ones that are available for spending, the one that requires, judicial pronouncement for you to spend. There are some that will appear to be in front of a court of competent jurisdiction for a decision. Those ones will not be regarded as government funds yet. We should be able to classify so that we can know the one recovered from the towers belong to government, so it should not be as if it's government funds.
Interesting.
That was kept there by the National Intelligence Committee, NIA. So that one should not be stolen funds.
Let's go to
it belongs to government.
Let's go to our Abuja studio where Dr. Bwesida also is already seated. If you look at what Mr. Magu has seen in the past, the politics around his confirmation, and what he has said today, how would you assess the EFCC and the Buhari anti-government war?
Hello. Okay. Thank you, Sheung. let me say clearly that one of the easiest ways to assess the performance of the EFCC with recovery is for a clear statement of recovery to be published. I mean, there's no question about the fact that a number of houses, huge sums of money, and etc. have been recovered, and we are all guessing and speculating. I think that transparency should start with a full publication and disclosure to the whole of the world, so that you can see that clearly and assess exactly what they have recovered, and then we begin to think about how do we spend that, or what do we do with that kind of money. But to keep it in secrecy, or to give us pieces of information about the recovery profile is, in my own opinion, itself not anti-corruption in nature. It is very important that the more than 270 houses that were recovered from the Mayina scam, the billions of naira that were recovered, and many others, way back to Tafa Balogun's recovery, should all be published to the Nigerian people. It's our money, and we have the right to know.
All right.
That's where the battle should start from, and that's where the accountability should start from.
Okay, we take a moment on the program, but when we come back, we switch gears on the conversation we are having on the program. That PDP stands on the issue of restructuring. They say the ruling APC is paying lip service to the matter of restructuring. What do you make of that? That's going to be next on the program, everyone. Join us again.